Today we're cooking spicy beef sambal, a great alternative to spaghetti. This will become your all-time favorite instantly as soon as you try it. Today I'm cooking something that became my all-time favorite really fast. I mean, instantly. As soon as I bit down into it, I was like, oh my God, what did I just cook today? What did I just taste? When I made it, I was thinking to myself, this kind of looks like spaghetti. Is it gonna taste like spaghetti? I knew it wasn't due to the mix of the sauces, the oyster sauce, the soy, the Asian garlic chili paste. Being that this dish is one of my all-time favorites, I'm not gonna do a whole lot of talking. Let's just get to cooking it and seeing how it comes out, because I haven't eaten all day and I plan on eating this when I get done. So less talking, more cooking, let's get to it. First thing we're gonna do, put a little oil in the pan. You wanna put just a tad bit of oil in the pan because this ground beef is an 80-20 ground beef mix. When you have 80-20, you have 80% meat, 20% fat. And the fat is gonna be very important here. You wanna make sure you keep the fat. Do not drain the fat, whatever you do. If you're one of those anti-fat, don't drain your fat. What's gonna happen is when you drop the garlic and the onions and the tomatoes, all that is gonna soak up that fat, and fat is flavor. So when you put the sauce in there and the tomatoes begin to stew with the garlic and the onions that have created the base for the sauce, the fat is gonna be very important in this mixture, so do not get it out. You drop just a little bit of oil, just a tad, not a lot. I mean, not even a tablespoon, maybe like a teaspoon. Drop the ground beef in. And what you wanna do, you don't wanna go smashing it as if it's spaghetti. So the hamburger meat is gonna create its own fat. Don't break it up, just space it just a little bit. You're gonna want the hamburger meat to char, and that's what's gonna give it the flavor. Hamburger meat tends to generate its own fat, that's why you get 80-20. So you want that char at the bottom, and that's the trick to this dish. You want a nice char. The charred meat is what's gonna give it that good flavor when you bite into it, and that's the difference between spaghetti and spicy beef sambal. Make sure you measure out your sauces properly and you have everything situated, because what can happen and what will happen on your very first out with this dish is you're gonna make too little sauce and use a whole pound of ground beef, and then you're gonna try to double up on the sauce. It's gonna be hella salty, extremely salty, so make sure you use chicken bone broth to kind of even the salt out. To make the sauce, you're gonna need 1 cup of oyster sauce. Oyster sauce can be a little bit thick, so you're gonna have to beat it out of the bottle. Once you've added 1 cup of oyster sauce, you're gonna add the soy sauce, half a cup of soy sauce. And then to top it off, you're gonna have the garlic chili paste. Make sure you get the Asian kind, not regular chili paste, but garlic, Asian garlic chili paste. And you're gonna stir this around. This serving is just enough for half a pound of ground beef. In order to add just a little volume to this sauce, you're gonna add chicken bone broth. Add a 1/4 cup of chicken bone broth, stir it around, and you're gonna dilute it just a little bit. Once the ground beef is charred, create a well in between the meat, and you're gonna drop just a little bit of garlic. Actually, not just a little bit, but 2 pinches of garlic. Then we're gonna drop 1/4 handful of onions. This is what's gonna give the meat the flavor. Now we're gonna mix the garlic and the onions up really well. And this is the whole point for not dumping the fat out of the beef. Let the beef generate its own fat, and this is what's gonna help out with the flavor of the sauce, and also cooking the garlic and the onions. Before you drop the garlic and the onions in, always turn the heat down to maybe a medium, almost to where it's gonna simmer, because now we're gonna put in the sauce. Make sure the aromatics are nice and fragrant, have the garlic browning, the onions browning. With any type of sauce or any dish you're cooking, it's all about creating layers of flavor. So now we're browning the onions and we're letting the onions sweat, the garlic sweat. You want it to sweat. Basically, this is a food sauna right here. When you're sweating, you're letting all the acids come out. It's giving the oil the flavor. And if you notice, the fat is reduced just a little bit because the onions and the garlic are soaking up the fat. Time to take some tomatoes, drop these in. This is what's gonna give it that flavor. That nice tomatoey flavor, the red color. You're gonna stir the tomatoes around, let some of the water evaporate and cook off. And then we're gonna put the sauce in. You don't want the sauce to be watered down by the tomatoes because tomatoes do have a little bit of water. Kind of let everything cook. The tomatoes take on the brown color of the onions and the garlic. And that's when you know you have a concoction that is made in heaven. Smell of this dish. The funny part about it is you can smell, there's like layers. You can smell the layers of flavor being put onto this dish. It's amazing. It goes from the ground beef itself that you don't salt because the soy sauce, oyster sauce, and the garlic chili sauce, the Asian garlic chili sauce has a lot of salt already, so you don't need to salt and pepper this meat. But you can just smell the layers of flavor coming off, and it's a really pleasant dish to cook. And it's one that'll make you really hungry, and thank God this goes fast. Now we're gonna drop our sauce in. It's an amazing flavor with the combination of the onions, the garlic, tomatoes. It's a simple dish, but it's a dish that is just, it's flavorful. Can't even explain it. It's just something very flavorful. It's amazing. The smell alone is what'll get you. You wanna keep this on a medium, and you wanna let these tomatoes stew in this spicy concoction for maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is really good because that gives the tomatoes time to break down, get all the juices out, and you have this nice, rich flavor when you drop the rice noodles in. After about 15 minutes of this sauce cooking, it begins to develop a dark, kind of reddish brown, rich looking color. And that's when you know it's done. And then we're gonna add the noodles. This is the best part of the day. This means it's time to eat. After smelling this and torturing yourself, that means it's time to get down to business. Once you drop the rice noodles in, give it just a little stir, mix the sauce in. Make sure to keep the heat on because you want everything to cook in. Before you plate it, you always have to add some scallions. Scallions make everything better. Scallions are like butter, okay? Scallions make everything better, trust me. Add it in. Get you a handful of scallions and you mix it up. We're not done with the scallions yet. We're not done. Don't think we are. I can actually smell the scallions now. I've dumped them in. Anytime you're handling anything hot, put on the glove. Don't wrap a towel around it. You'll miss a spot. I say this all the time, but repetition is the key. Oh my gosh, this looks good. Remember to let this cook down. Let the sauce cook down. Let it thicken and develop. That's when you know you have a really good flavor. This looks good. You can smell it too. Now, didn't I say we're not done with the scallions? We're gonna top it with just a little bit of scallions. I'm lying, top with a lot. Scallions make my Asian experience very good. I'm not even gonna say, let's see what we got. I know what we have. And here we have spicy beef sambal. Not much to say. The Asian garlic chili paste is the MVP of this dish. And the scallions. The taste of fresh scallions, oh, it just makes this dish unbelievable. So, until we do this again, enjoy cooking, because I'm always gonna enjoy eating, especially if I cooked it.